these boats. My goodness me. The technology is astonishing. You can't believe the way things have come on since the days of racing gaff cutters. Now then, you thought you were in a boatyard, didn't you? But you're not. You're in the clubhouse of the Gosport Model Yacht and Boat Club. The technology is astonishing. They're all radio controlled and some of them are really quite complex. Now, the laser, as most of us know, is just about the simplest dinghy on the water and certainly one of the most fun to sail. Always has been. I can remember getting many a dousing as a young fella, sailing around in a laser. Size of me, I was devastating going upwind, but off the wind it was a different story. But the laser has been scaled right down so that it's model yacht size. The great thing is that these are fun boats and they're fun to sail. And in a club like this, there's a lot of guys, many of them have been at sea, they've worked in sailing dinghies, they've done all sorts of things, but they all love to sail these little boats. My pal Mike from Marine Advertising Agency's got one and he's down here today. We're all just out for the fun of it. But listen, this is a bit of a trip down memory lane for me, because when I was a little lad, a very little lad, my dad bought me a yacht. And the nature of my dad was this: rather than buying some crummy thing from a souvenir shop, he went out and researched it and found a yacht that would actually sail. And it was called a Bowman racing yacht. It was about this big, I think, and it stood about this high with its rig all done. And it was a lovely, lovely thing made of wood. It had a little hatch and you pulled the hatch off, and my dad used to encourage me to sniff the smell of the lovely wood coming out of that hatch, and I loved it. But you know, the thing about that boat was that to control it, you set the sails the way you thought it would be the right way to set them for where you wanted it to go. Because there was no radio control in 1953, not a bit of it. It was down to you and the wind and the balance of the boat. And the main sheet, the rope that controls the big sail at the back, was led to the tiller of the boat, which controls the direction it's travelling in. And there was a clever system of pulleys and a little elastic band. And you put more or less tension on the elastic band, and then when the sail pulled hard and the boat tried to go into the wind, which all sailing boats have done ever since the time of Noah, she tried to round up, but as she did, the main sheet pulled the tiller against the elastic band and it pulled her back into line. And if my dad and I set her up right, she would go straight across the pond and we'd have to rush round, go around to the other side and catch her when she came in. It was a great way to learn about sailing as a tiny little boy. We're standing here in front of a radio-controlled laser, which we're going to be racing on the pond in a bit.
Yes.
You're a proper sailor, aren't you? You sailed dark catamarans, and if I remember rightly, you were actually national champion.
That's it, yeah. I sailed catamarans for about 40 years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And now you're choosing to sail model yachts. Why is that? Warmer in the winter or what?
It's warmer in the winter and you can have 8 races in the morning and a tea break and not get wet. Yeah. When you sail in a boat, it just slots in. Like
Yeah.
that. And then we just hook it on to the main sheet. So
That's it, is it? The
that's
boat's
it.
rigged.
It's all rigged, ready
Love
to go.
it, love it.
So with the remote control,
Yeah,
control the rudder left and right.
left and right. Yeah.
And shoot the main in and out. They're an international thing. They're big in Europe, America,
Really?
even Australia. They've sold around 1,400 of them altogether.
Yeah.
You can get about 58 for national championships in the UK.
Wow. It's an absolute strict one design, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah. And they're very robust, they really break, so yeah.
Right, so the first guy over the line wins. It's
Yeah.
not the guy who's spent the most on fancy sails.
No. If you lose, it's your fault. So
I love
you
that.
can't blame the boat.
No, that's proper racing, isn't it?
It is, yes.
This looks like quite a short sail to me. It's quite a narrow, high aspect ratio sail. It's a windy day today, is that?
Yeah, this is one of the smaller sails. We've got two bigger sails in this.
Yeah.
There's 4 rigs altogether.
Yeah.
The A rig, which is the biggest, B rig, which is a normal sort of sail, and this is the C rig, which really covers virtually all windy conditions.
Okay.
And the D rig for a gale force. So.
Okay, good sail. I mean, that's
Oh, yes,
because
yes.
it looks like 20, 25 knots out there right now.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Yacht racing isn't cheap, is it, by anybody's standards? How about this? What does this cost?
Well, from second hand, you can pick them up for about £200 complete
No.
with the radio control and all 3 rigs. Generally around £300 for a good one, and a new one will cost you about £600.
Okay, well let's give it a go, shall we?
Okay, fine.
Yeah, right. Put the helm the wrong way again. It's a real trick working this. I had a good place there, but I've lost it. The nice thing about these boats and this class is that it's fun. Nobody gets worked up. It's got to be fun. There goes my little boat. Oh, that's good. It's very interesting. Once I'm close hauled and there's nothing much going on, I can steer this boat. I think I'm steering the boat quite effectively. I'm making as good speed as anybody else. But when there's a lot of boats around and you've got to be au fait with the gear and the controls, I'm just not sharp enough. So I always drop back and lose a place or two.